Hey, here's my quick tutorial of what I use Google Gemini, which is an AI competitor to ChatGPT. But let me know if you're interested in me working with other people to figure out what some of the other AIs are, because there are quite a few, and some of them are different than others. So they all dip from content that's widely available out on the open web for the most part, and then they're curated by their prospective owners. So I'm going to show you the main things that I use it for. Looking up words, research topics expansion, so looking for like the canon of like a particular topic. I look for keywords so I can do related terms in the catalog, Likert question creation, checking if something was written by an AI, and then I'll talk about some drawbacks. So the first thing is you can say, if you're like hearing a word, I had a friend who was going to medical school, and they were always talking about, oh, you know what you need is a poultice. And it turns out that that's something from like a long time ago. It's like putting herbs on a bandage. But what era does the word poultice come from? And then you can say, oh, okay, well, I found out another way. It's from like the early 1800s, before they learned about bacteria and things like that. Okay. But I'll often with students, hand in hand, if they see a word that's like no one understands or the context is wrong, I'll use this as a teaching tool. Second thing, research. You can say, what are the primary fields of study in sociology? I'll use this as a validation tool. So if I'm doing in-depth study on something, I can look and see, have I missed anything? So this is more for my research help. What are the main struggles with economic social policy in the 1970s Britain? You can ask like all these really complicated questions, and the AI picks these little bits and it throws it together. And how it works is they prioritize words to do their research in. And sometimes, so here's this thing, sometimes it can make mistakes, so double check. But if you're just getting like the background, this is a really great tool. So I used to send people to Wikipedia, but now I have people go to this, where if they don't understand a topic, if they're like a freshman doing a writing, this is really handy. And it's not validated, and it's not necessarily true or not, but what you can do is sometimes see the resources that they're using, but it's a great starting point for students to then go in and use for their research. Okay, the next one. It can help with survey creation. So, oh, sorry. You know what you can do? Let me go back. I was going to show you keywords. This is where I would use like keywords. So oftentimes authors will have different words that they use. So this is what I use a lot and going into the databases, because we don't necessarily know what people are calling like industrial decline. I hadn't quite heard of that in the 1970s. I'd heard post-industrial from our era. Okay, next one. Help me make Likert questions out of the following. And so I have a list of, let's see, feelings about faculty status that I just pasted in. Oh, there you can see them. And then it's like, it throws out these. Now, one thing to be aware of is I did this search before making this video, and the formatting was different. So this is just kind of like something churning really quickly and then throwing it out there. So I would recommend doing these a couple times, or maybe changing the words or things like that. But it's handy for that. Or it's like, you could even say, how best to write Likert questions. Isn't this cool? So the next one that a lot of people use for ChatGPT is writing text. So I can say, this will do text checking for me. Was the following written by an AI? And indeed it was. So you could use this as a qualitative tool. It is not scientifically accurate, but it can help you feel like if you're feeling suspicious about something that somebody wrote, you can just cut and paste it into here, and it'll tell you. Let's see. Okay, drawbacks. It's relative. It's changing, and so your results are going to change even on a daily basis. Depending on the interface that you use, they might be looking at a body of text that's like open web, that's like really low quality. So maybe like the comment section of different newspapers versus looking at scholarly information. So they have a ranking of what they were going to be looking at. So that's one thing to be aware of. Another one is they have censorship. So what they do is to avoid risk of lawsuits, they will avoid politics sometimes. And it depends on where you go. Was the election caused by apathy? That's something that I want to know. But when I saw, oh, no way. So I asked this exact question 10 minutes ago, and it said, sorry, I can't answer that question. What is going on here? I'll ask a more current question. I'll put somebody's name in. Is Taylor Swift politically left? That's kind of a pointed question. What? Okay, so your results may vary. Before the election, I couldn't ask this question. But so beware that different AIs will have different filters in them. And so the results may vary. And ideally, it's working with a body of information that you can look at anything. But famously, there are some keywords in some privately held AIs that are dubious. Next one, in the library, it's a bonus round. In the ProQuest databases, so for example, sociological abstracts, there is a built-in AI that they're trying to build out. And so if you ask, a question, sometimes there's going to be in these databases kind of an AI version. Theirs kind of went away. I wonder where it used to populate over here. Let me ask, or let me click into a question. Oh, here we go. It's Research Assistant. These are doing the same things where it's trained on a body of information. The AI model that they're using is trained by this particular database. So I was really excited about these, but I was kind of disappointed because they're kind of new and they're not trained as well as the Google one. There's another one in a database called Scopus, which I was really disappointed in. Let me be honest. But it's a brand new tool, and I can't remember where it is. maybe they've put it, maybe they've suppressed it a little bit. But again, it shows up in the searches. So if you click on something, breaking the chains of oppression, it will have, so these related documents might have been created by an AI. And sometimes, so if you see these little suggestions, would you like to try this or maybe look at this? Those are starting to be built into things. And I've also seen on YouTube an index where it had like an index of the kind of like a text analysis of a video, and it gave a chapter by chapter. And that kind of went away again. So we're kind of in the middle of it right now. I hope this helps, but let me know. I'd love to continue the conversation with you.